Hey Taurus, welcome to your 2023 year in review reading. We're going to take a peek at your experiences over 2023 and how you could go into the new year being your best self. So, your overall energy, we're starting out with conflict. So, it feels like 2023 was a little bit stressful for you guys, to say the least. There may have been some challenges in your relationships, in your workplace, within yourself. And so I feel like it forced you to make some maybe difficult decisions, and it sort of reshaped the way that you look at yourself and the way that you look at how you show up in life. We also have perspective, gaining clarity, see other side, consideration, impression is fact, taking responsibility for your life and your own path. Both of these cards came out for your overall energy. Trailblazing brings the greatest achievement, heart and mind aligned, unconventionality, and authenticity. So it feels like for a lot of my Tauruses out there that this was more of a struggle with self than anything else. It almost feels as though you were challenged to figure out who you are right now, who you've been, what you want to be. It was almost like this sort of existential crisis, like, well, this is not what I want out of my life right now. And it seemed like there were some challenges, maybe in terms of you conforming to other people's expectations versus what it is that you sort of saw for yourself. And, maybe you had an experience that sort of shifted the way that you thought. Maybe you were inspired by seeing someone else's life path, or maybe you had an experience that was like, wait a minute, I think that this is possible. I think that I can make this real. But there seems to be that sort of underlying disconnect in where you are, who you are, and where you want to be, and the person that you want to be. So it feels as though that may have played out over the past year for you. So let's get into some tarot and see what other messages we can get so we can start you off on the right foot in the new year. So, a card to represent you over the past year, we have the Ten of Swords in reverse. It feels like for my Taurus collective out there that there was a lot of healing that was happening, or at least an attempt to try and heal or recover from some experiences that you've had. With the Ten of Swords, that's really literally about being stabbed in the back, being betrayed, sort of being in a very dark place. And I think that perhaps that was the root of this conflict, where you may feel that you have betrayed yourself, that you may not have been particularly honest with yourself, or maybe that was the case with other people. But either way, having the Ten of Swords in reverse, it feels like there has been an ongoing recovery, trying to get out of that place. And we have that clarified by the Emperor. So this is someone who stands in their full power. They stand in their truth. They are 10 toes down on everything. And they can be a little bit stubborn at times. But I think that for my Tauruses out there, given that you are the bull, that this is you just sort of firming up what it is that you want out of life, that your perspective, that your mindset has shifted, and you're trying to stand strong in what it is that you've sort of landed on. So not necessarily a bad outcome, not a bad path to be on. I think it was born from some difficult situations, but it feels like you, over the past year, were doing the very best you could to sort of come out of that energy. Now, a lesson that you were learning over the past year, we have the Chariot in reverse, and we also have the King of Wands. There was, I think, a little bit of stagnancy that was happening for you guys, where there's a very frustrating energy, and it felt like things weren't moving forward, especially in the way that you sort of wanted them to, or the way that you expected them to. So it feels like there were a lot of fits and starts throughout this process. But with the King of Wands, this is someone who is very passionate, someone who is very energetic, but they're mature enough to know where to channel that energy and that fire and that passion. And so I think that one of the big lessons that you were learning over the past year is sort of to stop and breathe and reevaluate, right? You have all of this excitement, all of this energy, and there's no need to rush forward. It feels as though the lesson that you were learning is how to channel that energy in a very productive way that means something to you, that is going to be for your highest benefit. So it was kind of like, slow down, little rabbit, slow down. Like your energy is not going to go anywhere. You don't need to expend it all at one time. Expend it on the things that are meaningful to you, that you know are going to be for your greatest good. Now, how this energy has changed you, we have the Knight of Swords in reverse. So when the Knight of Swords is upright, it's considered the fastest moving knight in the deck, right? There's a lot of energy, there's a lot of thoughtfulness, but it can also be a little bit reckless because they're moving so fast. They may not necessarily take the time to think about how things are going to play out, what sort of impact it's going to have on their life and on the life of, other people around them. So I think that you have become a little bit more tempered in your approach to life and sort of how you move forward. There's not that impetus to sort of rush along. There's not that feeling that like you have to get it done. You have to get it done now. You have to go, 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 right? And so what it's also changed about you, we have the Nine of Pentacles and we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the Nine of Pentacles is, I think in your case, Taurus, it's appreciation for the things that you do have, and it's appreciation for the person that you are. This is someone who is abundant in and of their own right. They're not necessarily looking for any external validation, but it's somebody who validates themselves. And they are pretty content with, with sort of who they are, at least to the extent where they recognize that goodness within them. They recognize that potential within them. And they are sort of happy about that. And with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like that affirms the Nine of Pentacles, because upright, the Queen of Pentacles is someone who can be generous almost to a fault, where they give, give, give because they have so much to offer. They're constantly giving to other people. And oftentimes that's not reciprocated. And so I think that throughout this past year, and you gaining perspective and having this little bit of tug of war within yourself, that you have learned to, again, figure out where you give your energy to. And in this case, the Queen of Pentacles, it's earth energy. It's sort of those tangible things, right? And so your time, your energy, your money, your emotions, you have figured out where and when to give them to the appropriate person, including yourself. And so I think that this year has been a year of clarity for you in terms of, how you sort of give yourself to other people and how you give yourself to yourself, actually. Now, looking at what held you back this year, we have the Knight of Pentacles and we also have the Eight of Wands. So remember earlier in the reading, I said it felt like there were these fits and starts that you were having. So the Knight of Pentacles is, converse to what we have with the Knight of Swords, is the slowest moving knight in the deck, but they are super, super steady. And we also have the Eight of Wands in reverse. Now, the Eight of Wands is really about action. It's about, moving forward at lightning speed, things coming in very quickly. And so where you could have, I think, pushed forward a little bit, with tempered energy, you kind of came to a complete standstill where, it may have been a case of analysis paralysis. It's like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just not going to do anything at all. And so that sort of kept you in those stagnant periods, right? Where we had this sort of compulsion to move forward very quickly, maybe not thinking things through, and then we just stopped. So it didn't feel like there was a happy medium to be found between the two. that there didn't seem like there was a lot of balance between going warp speed and going at no speed at all. So that may have held you back a little bit this year in terms of your movement forward and achieving the things that you want to do. So something that you may have ignored this year, we have the Page of Wands in reverse. Now, the pages are pretty naive energies. They're still learning. They're still young. And with the Page of Wands, that's that excitement, that curiosity that you have inside of you. And it feels like those little pulls that you may have had to sort of chart your own path, that conflict that you were feeling internally, it feels as though that dimmed your light a little bit. And so you put those sort of thoughts about the possibilities that could exist on the back burner and, didn't necessarily pursue them. And we have that clarified by the Queen of Cups, that who is abundant, who is full of love, who is full of life and giving. And so I do think that when it came to especially yourself and your dreams and your goals and your desires, that you put yourself in a place to be a little bit stagnant, and you may have not given a lot of credence to those pulls, to that intuition that you were feeling, that maybe you should try something a little bit new, that maybe you should, sort of explore the world a little bit more. And, I think for my Tauruses out there, that's still there because, again, when we look at the overall energy from this year, it feels like a period of recovery, right? And so you've gone through this process, you're starting this awakening where you have really started to figure out how you resolve this internal conflict and how you move forward in life in a way that honors you, that honors what it is that you want and what it is that you need. So something that you should be proud of, we have the Four of Swords in reverse. You're awakening, Taurus. So you should be absolutely proud of that fact. This entire year has been spent on this journey of self, and you're starting to come out of it with all of these lessons learned. You're starting to figure out who you are and what it is that you want, what to do, what not to do, so that you could move forward in a more authentic way, in a manner that's going to put you on the path to the things that you ultimately want. And to clarify that, we have the Ace of Wands. That spark is being reignited inside of you. So closing out this new year, or this old year, and going into the new year, you are opening your eyes to all of the possibilities and the potential that exist after this, bit of chaotic energy in figuring out yourself, how to navigate around other people, how to sort of align your heart and your head with your actions that show up in the 3D. That's not a bad thing, Taurus. I think for you, it's all been a learning process. Absolutely not a negative thing. And so you'll go into 2024 with all of these lessons learned and a better understanding of yourself and how it is that you show up for you and the bandwidth that you have to engage other people. So keep nurturing that spark, keep learning those lessons, keep figuring out what it is that sort of makes you special and what it is that feeds your spirit, because that's going to be what carries you through the next year. So that's what I got for you guys. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon.